everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Weird Weekly News. We do it every Wednesday. I'm just going to tell you strange ass stories from anywhere in the world. You just never know.
Yes.
I'm Gina.
I'm Rich.
And so the way we get this started, figure out who has to go first telling the story, is we solve it the way any red-blooded American would solve it, and that is by rock, paper, scissors. So
We already know what the results are going to be, so
I feel like I win every time, but let's try it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I feel that way too. That's funny. I feel that way too.
Rock,
paper,
scissors,
shoot. Oh.
Okay, faster. Rock, paper, scissors,
shoot.
I won again. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay.
Shocking to me. I think you somehow you just know what's coming.
I wonder how that is. No, my
know.
skills don't stretch that far, I promise.
Okay. All right. Well, where's my favorite place in the world? Do you know where's my favorite place to go?
You love to go to Vegas and Walt Disney World. So
okay, you can stop at Vegas. That's a good one.
All right.
Did you hear about the human remains found in Lake Mead?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, because I still have the news stations on my feed from when we lived there.
Oh, do you?
I still follow news stations out in Vegas. Yeah.
Well, it started out that like last week or the week before they found a metal barrel that had human remains in it. And I guess it was still preserved enough that, you know, it still had its clothing. They could tell it's probably from like the 70s or 80s, and that it was a gunshot is what caused the demise of this individual. And they're trying to figure out who that is. And of course, all this is coming out because of the water lines at Lake Mead are receding, so all the levels are lower. So now,
did you see the side-by-side comparison of the lake?
I'm not looking at a side-by-side, but I'm looking at what it looks like right now, and it's pretty.
I'm going to show you a side-by-side comparison.
Are you talking like a Google Earth thing or something?
Of then and now. Hold on. Everybody's gonna make fun of my how I Google search because it makes fun of me all the time. Okay, so if we just go to this
yep.
Let's see here. I think, but it should be in the images because they showed an overview of what Lake Michigan looks like, or Lake Michigan. Oh, we live in Southeast Wisconsin.
Probably the one right. I think it was one right down there.
Let's do this. Because it might show
that third one in maybe. On those pictures.
No, it was oh yeah, here it is. Okay. So look.
Holy cow!
I know, but there's an even better one. But look how much smaller.
Right.
Yes.
Wow.
Isn't that insane? Oh, here it is. Oh,
amazing.
That's not what we want to see. There it is. Okay, see how big it used to be and now.
That's ridiculous.
It's insane how much it's receded. So yeah, I mean, all the bodies that were dumped in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, they found the one, and now it's just they found another one. This was skeletal remains, so they don't have as much to go by other than they're going to do forensic testing, obviously, to find out.
Oh, wait a minute. So the first barrel actually still had preserved remains. It wasn't.
It was more preserved and still had the clothing and all that stuff. That it wasn't all deteriorated to the point where that's how they figured out it was 70s, early 80s probably is when this took place by the clothing that the person was wearing.
Yeah.
And they still had the shoes on and everything. So it was.
I feel like they cannot go by the clothing that the person was wearing unless.
Not now, you can't really.
And right, well, especially being in Vegas. I mean, look at how much shticks people have out there. You know, you have people that dress as Elvis and all kinds of stuff. So I feel like, I mean, there had to have been a different, maybe the clothing maker, or maybe there was some kind of identifying thing on the fabric or whatever. If it didn't have a SKU number, I don't know if SKU numbers were a thing back in the 70s. So
right. Yeah, so it was the homicide. It's a homicide. They said they believe it's a homicide. I guess I'd believe that too, because I'm sure the person didn't crawl into a barrel and die. I'm pretty sure that, and have a gunshot wound. So I'm pretty sure that he was probably a victim of the mob, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's what they were
It's
saying. I
just
heard
it's
that.
just you always heard stories about it, and you oh yeah, this the mob and does this and does that. You're gonna end up at the bottom of the lake, and here they are finding bodies at the bottom of the lake. And
Well, I mean, it
I
doesn't
mean,
surprise me. Look at that area there. Even driving to Lake Mead, it's like
yeah,
it's not like you hit a ton of traffic. And then when you
yeah,
go
it's
down
pretty
there, there's
desolate.
BLM land down there. So I'm almost
Yeah,
positive. So when you drive, we went to this like hidden area, hidden, I say, it's like not main popular area at Lake Mead. And we went to, oh no, was that like, yeah, we went down there and we found this like little back cove area that we took, and Roxy was swimming in it and stuff. So, and that was where like BLM land was. So like people were just squatting on the land in their RVs and vans and all that stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that things like that go on. But I mean, you think about like there's a huge stretch of desert as well between Vegas and California, like the Mojave Desert that's right there,
oh yeah,
Death
yeah,
Valley and stuff. I
right.
drove that so many times and I'm like, man, would not be hard to hide something in that
Yeah, so
area.
they found a second one now, skeletal. So obviously they're gonna try to find out who that is. But I mean, if they found those two, there's more. So I mean,
Right.
just imagine the people that are boating and swimming.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that I don't think I'd be too eager to be doing that anytime soon.
No, I wouldn't want to be swimming in that water at this point. Like
No, you gotta think that's not a good idea. So I
when
mean,
we
I'm sure
did
that's
go
gonna
to
hurt
Lake
that.
Mead, I think we barely went into the water when we were there. Like the second time. The first time we didn't go in at all. The dog did, but the second
My
time.
my my history with Lake Mead is flying over it in a plane. So
Oh yeah.
that's as much as I can tell you about Lake Mead. Flying over, going, oh look, there's Lake Mead. Oh look, there's the power plant or
Yeah, we were
the
only there
dam.
a couple times, but I mean it's
The
beautiful when you're driving through that area.
oh, I bet. I mean, I don't doubt that for a minute. I mean, just flying over that plane, you can see like like you were talking about. You got one road here that goes and it goes forever because that's all it is there's nothing else around.
Yep.
I do have to do the damn tour though.
Oh yeah, we didn't do the tour, but we went to the Hoover Dam.
I
Some
bet that
friends
was
of
pretty
ours
cool.
went on the tour whenever they were there. All right. Well, I'm taking it international.
Okay.
Well, semi-international. Actually, oh, you know what? I'm gonna stick with a US one this first time around. So this is from NPR, and the headline was First Known Interstellar Meteor Hit Earth in 2014. So US officials confirmed recently, like right now in 2022, that a meteor that crashed back in 2014 off the coast of, I think it's Papua New Guinea. I'm sorry to anybody if I'm mispronouncing this. Anyway, that it originated from beyond our solar system. So it was named CNEOS 2014-0108. I bet you can't guess when it crashed by its name. so so at that time that it crashed, it was already presumed to be interstellar by Amir Saraz, who was like in 2019 actually is when he was a Harvard student at the time, and he was working with his what's the name of it? Oh my God, his academic advisor. Sorry, that's what it was. So he was working with his academic advisor that was named Abraham Loeb. And
I thought you were gonna say Lincoln. I swear to God, I thought Abraham Lincoln was coming out of your mouth.
Nope, Abraham Loeb, and they're at Harvard. He's a professor at Harvard. He was an academic advisor of this student at the time was a student, Amir Saraz, it looks like. And so basically in 2019, they had figured out that that it was interstellar. It was from another solar system, not from our solar system, because at that point they had already been tracking something that had come, that they had named, that had landed here, an object years before that, or the meteor, the CNEOS 2014-1-08 preceded this one by I think 3 years. And I guess how they determined it was because of its orbit and speed when it hit the Earth. So they said it figured it went 37 miles per second, and they traced it. They traced the orbit and thought that it came from a deep interior of another planetary system, or from a star in the disk of the Milky Way. So what ended up happening was I looked up a couple more articles on this. So in Newsweek, they had said, it was like Newsweek and CNN also had something on this. But the reason they said that it took the government so long, or the reason that they couldn't really get it approved as saying that it was from out of the solar system, was because at the time they were using NASA I think it's called CNEOS information.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's certain bits of information that NASA doesn't divulge. And so they could not verify that information that they had gathered because they had used data from this NASA information. So there were like, I think they were trying to publish a paper. You guys will just have to go to these articles just to be sure, because I don't want to like, I'm not the news, I'm not a reporter, I'm just telling you about something I saw on the internet. Basically they needed more info, like the US officials needed more info before they could confirm it. And so now after all these years, they're saying, yes, it came from beyond our solar system. And I think that's kind of cool when you think about it, because like I'm hoping that they're testing it for like minerals and like the contents and like what's different in that versus, you know, rocks or dirt found here in the United States on the earth. Me thinking the US is everything. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, well,
don't fall asleep on me.
No. Just I'll have it's a long day too.
I know.
I hope it's from someplace else. I hope that would be awesome, and I hope that the testing that they're doing, I agree with you on that they're testing for stuff that maybe they haven't tested before. You know, they got to go a little deeper. And I think now with technology and everything that we have out there, that they should be able to. I mean, man, there's got to
be life somewhere else.
And I think that there, I don't want to say there, I don't want to say I think there is, because that sounds, I think we're naive to think that this can be all there is.
Right.
You know, I mean, just in terms of the earth, paranormal stuff, whatever. I mean, yeah, I think that everybody needs to maybe open their mind up a little bit just to accept things. I mean, because think about it. Back whenever, you know, Christopher Columbus, the world was flat.
Right.
You know? It's that type of thing in my mind, is until you actually experience it, or you actually can see it or have proof. Everybody has a different thought process, and they think one thing. I bet you there's a lot of people out there that have one thought and they're dead set, and this is what they believe. Nothing's going to change their mind. Yet they have changed their mind to a different way of thinking just because of something that's happened to them, and it changes your perspective, I think. And I really hope that they're doing that testing, that, because I mean, people, let's face it, they want proof, they want the hard facts, the scientific, right. You know, that's what people want. They don't want somebody telling them, oh, this is what we think, or this is what we believe, or we heard this, or we think it. I mean, there's enough of that going around that, I mean, anybody can, me and you can sit here and say stuff like that, you know. That's just your opinion.
Right.
But I truly believe that there's got to be more out there. I mean, there just has to be.
It'd be amazing if they like cracked the meteors open like eggs and found like a pair of like vintage bell-bottom jeans from like the galaxy Narnia or something. Like,
I mean, I hope that we're around long enough to see that happen. Not finding the bell bottoms or nothing, but
if not, we'll just come back as ghosts and witness it. We'll hunt. But just think, I think when we die, we kind of know it all. Like I think we find everything out. So it's like,
this is gonna sound selfish to me, and it might be a little off topic, but you know, I've had enough people pass away that I wish I would get some type of confirmation,
that they're okay.
because
Yeah.
I mean, just that some of
Or
the
that
people
they're
that I
there.
know, some of the people I know that are that recently have passed know or knew the things that I do with the paranormal stuff, and would always poke fun at it, or oh yeah, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna, and as demented as that is, now they're not here anymore.
Right. And like,
And
right.
I
They
really
should
wish
come
that
back and
they would come back and maybe they would prove that to me and say, "See, I told you."
yeah.
It just, I mean,
Or you
that
weren't as
sounds,
much of a nut as I thought you were.
is that selfish of me to wish that would
No,
happen?
it's not selfish. I mean, it's the same thing. Like we all want confirmation of things that we wonder about. So it's just like, I mean, it's the same thing with like, science buffs whenever they see things about meteors and so forth. Like, I mean, we
I think
want to
that's
know.
awesome. I think that's awesome. I think
we
that's
want to
really cool.
know.
And I mean, I think we deserve to know. I mean,
Or maybe the meteor is actually just like, did you ever see Joe Dirt?
yes, I don't know that I remember much of it, but
okay,
I
so
remember
Joe
that
Dirt carried around the
yeah.
what he thought was a meteor in his little red wagon, and it was actually like
yeah.
it was actually
Okay.
waste from an airplane or something.
Yes.
Okay.
I remember
So
that. Yeah.
maybe these meteors is just waste from a UFO.
Who knows?
I mean, it's thoughts.
Sounds like sounds like that. Maybe we'll find out with this the testing they're doing, and
we'll follow this closely.
I mean, how many times do you hear stories similar to that? Where people see this, or there's a meteor or whatever. And
have you ever seen one? I've seen one meteor and one comet. Oh no, not true. 2 meteors and 1 comet.
Yeah, I think I saw maybe a meteor. I don't think maybe it was a comet.
Remember the Hale-Bopp comet?
The Hale-Bopp comet. I don't remember that.
Okay, so like it was back in the early 90s, and it was called the Hale-Bopp comet, and it was like there was these people that committed suicide because they thought that there was a spaceship riding in the tail of the comet that was gonna like come. I'm loosely giving this story based on memory from like 30 years ago, so excuse me, but the Hale-Bopp comet, I think it was like they thought that a UFO was like trailing in the tail of this comet, and when the comet made its way over a certain section, then the UFO was gonna like come down and take its people back. And so these people thought that they were chosen, and so in order for them to like go up into the UFO, I think they had to, like, it's another drink the Kool-Aid kind of situation, where the like I don't know if it was like poison, I can't remember. So I'm probably telling like half lies and half truths here. Not really lies, I just don't remember. But so I got off topic. Sorry. If you want to go with your next story, let's do it.
All right. My next story here is, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of scary. Scares me.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I mean, not scary like I'm scared, but it's something that I think everybody may be concerned about at some point in their life. Passenger takes over and lands plane in South Florida after pilot incapacitated.
Holy shit.
So you got it's just a small little Cessna single engine plane, so it's not like it's a commercial airliner or nothing like that. Sounds like it could be something out of a movie or something like that. You're thinking, oh man, here's Bruce Willis or something, he's gonna jump in and fly this plane. But it was just they're flying over, and all of a sudden he's radioing in, hey, my pilot, he's gone incoherent. He's not flying the plane anymore. I don't know what to do. He's telling, I have no idea. I've never flown a plane. I've never done flight simulator or anything like that. There was only 2 people on the plane. It was confirmed that the pilot was having a medical emergency of some sort, but the flight controllers, they talked him through it. They told him, follow the coast. You'll be okay if you follow that. He actually ended up landing at Palm Beach Airport, which is one of the 3 airports in the Miami area.
Scary.
He was able to land safely. So, I mean, just kudos to him.
Right. I mean, Just some regular Joe, just like, hey, I'm gonna land a plane today.
Started out that his day is going to go in the plane, not thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have to land this thing. I don't know that I mean, I guess I would definitely try. I mean, what is your
Right.
option?
Right. None at
I'm
that
not going to
point.
let the
But
plane crash.
what did they
I'm
say?
going
What was
to,
wrong? Like,
no, they
was there
never
any
did say
follow
what
up news story?
exactly. Um, it says they weren't sure exactly what it was. He was taken to an nearby hospital, but details of emergency weren't immediately clear. FAA is investigating the incident.
Holy shit.
So,
Well, I am glad that these people are safe. I hope that it was not too bad of a medical emergency, but I hope it was a medical emergency instead of, any other situations that could be going on. So
yeah, very true. Very true. It's
it
just
was just one
always
of those little airplanes.
scary. Yeah, just one of those little single, like one of those little ones, like you see flying out of the airport here in town. Just
Yeah.
probably like a sightseeing plane or something like that. Just didn't say where they were going or what the purpose of flying was. For all I know, for all we know, it could have been a training exercise. Where
Yeah.
the guy's trying to get his pilot's license. It doesn't say
Well,
that because you would think if that was the case, he'd have some experience.
right.
And
That they
it's
would
basically saying this guy didn't know anything. And all of a sudden,
I'm
the pilot
surprised like
passes
the
out and he's
air
like
traffic
screaming. He doesn't know what to
control.
do.
Yeah, I'm surprised air traffic control, like, do they have to learn how to fly a plane, or is it maybe
I bet you
like,
they do.
or it could be like 911 dispatchers, like there's software for 911 dispatchers that they type in a medical emergency and then it's kind of like like not index cards, but I mean, it's just informational cards or
Right.
like electronic
Could
cards that
be.
come up and tell you, like, you follow the algorithm. If this, then this,
Right.
then tell people to place their hand here and the other
Right.
hand over and start CPR.
And that almost kind of sounds like it is when they told them to follow the coastline. They know
Yeah.
that that's probably one of the easiest things because you're using your sight in a small plane. You don't have instruments that
Right.
you're looking for
So were they
radar or any of
trying to
that
like
stuff.
find him then? Were they trying to like
I don't.
triangulate
No,
him or something?
I think they had him. They were just trying to
Oh,
get him to the airport without
gotcha.
freaking
Okay.
out. And they
Okay.
were trying to tell him, which is probably even better that they're telling him to fly over the coast. You don't want them to
Yeah.
tell them to fly over all of highly populated areas in this plane. Probably
Oh
it's
yeah,
probably
that's
easier to
true.
come in off the. Of course they don't say that in that
Right.
article, but
I guess if it's got to crash over the water, it's a better place to
because
go.
that's what I've always heard is that's what you're following when you're flying a plane. Anyways, you're following the waterways and you're following the interstate systems from that. That's how they fly them. That's how they
Yeah.
navigate with the helicopters and all that stuff. So,
Hmm.
so like I said, something a little bit
It is
frightening to
scary.
me anyway. Because I mean, with as much as we fly, I mean, I fly a few times a year. I mean, obviously in a bigger plane like that, I think the chances of that happening are a lot less. But you just never know. I mean, how many times is there an emergency and a commercial airline, but you never know because they don't tell you.
Yeah, that's
They're not
true.
just they're not gonna broadcast. I'm being
Oh,
invaded. I'm being invaded.
is that a cat butt? Is that
That's a cat leg.
a cat leg?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's a cat leg.
You got blessed
He's
with
like he's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm out of here.
well, guess what? I'm gonna finish this off with a story about drunk Bambi.
Okay, well, I can hardly wait.
Okay.
Two of my favorite things.
So from United Press International is where I found this. So the headline was Wildlife Group warns of drunk deer in France. Okay, so essentially, so it's in the Normandy region of France. They're warning members of the public, is what the article says. Beware of an unusual problem of drunk deer running amok. That's a direct quote. So there's a 30 Million Friends Foundation, which is a French animal rescue group, and they said that the deer in Normandy, I guess like it says, and I quote, have been known to overindulge this time of year on spring buds that are loaded with sugar that ferments in the animal's stomach,
I was
making
gonna
them
say, yeah, it
drunk
must be
in
something
the
fermented. Yeah.
same way as if they had consumed alcohol. End quote. So it comes. I'm gonna flex my French muscles for a second. Ready for this? Association pour la protection des animaux sauvages. So it's not the best, but it's what I remember.
Animal. I heard animal. I know animal.
It's what I remember from 30 years ago being in school, or otherwise known as ASPAS. Warned hikers and drivers to beware of the potential drunk deers. they said just to keep a safe distance from these deers because they could act, erratic.
Act drunk.
I know.
They could act drunk.
Right. And apparently there's like rescuers that have even had to rescue some deer. Like one, I guess, fell into the Seine River there. And so they had to like pull it from the river.
Really?
Yeah. And it was it was in an intoxicated state. And then there was another one that they found an intoxicated state in a park or something in the town center, is what it said. So I had to laugh because I was like, what do deers look like when they're drunk? It made me think of Bambi, when Bambi's born and its legs are all like, flopping around. But
wow, that would be a good mascot for the Milwaukee Bucks. A drunken deer.
A drunken deer.
I mean, right now in the playoffs, I mean, they could take it up there to the deer district and let it run around.
This will probably
probably not very safe.
Probably
but,
post. This will probably post after the playoffs are over, but I just want to say Bucks and 6. Bucks.
I'm thinking you're right.
So anyway, yeah. That was my story. Firefighters out rescuing drunk deers in the river.
Nothing wrong with that. I like it.
A Wisconsin problem too.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of alcohol in this in today's episode, so
there was.
I have a funny feeling that alcohol is always going to be a factor involved in a lot of things.
Anytime you find a weird or strange story, that's going to probably have alcohol involved somewhere.
Right.
But, well, we hope we entertained you guys. So every Wednesday, like I said, we just do this weird weekly news. Rich brings 2 stories. I bring 2 stories. We fight over who's going to go first. And we just try.
It's not usually a fight.
Try to surprise each other with our stories and talk about it. Gina usually wins. Yes, I talked about myself.
Yes, she does. I'm okay with that.
Well, everybody join us again next time. Hopefully we'll see you Monday for our Realm podcast, and then again on Wednesdays. So take care, everybody.